The Pauli effect is the supposed tendency of technical equipment to encounter critical failure in the presence of certain people, particularly Austrian theoretical physicist Wolfgang Pauli. The term was coined after numerous anecdotal stories describing instances in which demonstrations involving equipment suffered technical problems only when Pauli was present. The Pauli effect was humorously tagged as a second Pauli exclusion principle, suggesting that a functioning device and Wolfgang Pauli could not occupy the same room. Pauli himself was convinced that the effect named after him was real and corresponded with Carl Jung and Hans Bender about the concept of synchronicity. Some theorists who lack an aptitude or interest in experimental work have earned a reputation for accidentally breaking experimental equipment. But Pauli was exceptional in this regard. Experimental physicist Otto Stern even banned Pauli from his laboratory in Hamburg despite their friendship, fearing the Pauli effect. One famous incident occurred at the foundation festivities of the C.G. Jung Institute in Zurich in 1948, where a china flower vase fell on the floor without any obvious reason as Pauli entered, prompting him to write an article exploring relationships between physics and depth psychology. Other anecdotal evidence includes an expensive measuring device at the University of Göttingen suddenly stopping for no apparent reason when Pauli was switching trains at the nearby railway station. The San Pedro Mountains mummy, informally known as Pedro, was discovered in the 1930s in Wyoming by two gold prospectors, Cecil Main and Frank Carr, in a cave near Pathfinder Reservoir. The mummy was approximately 6 to 7 inches tall, weighed about 1 pound, and was found in a seated position. Due to its small size and adult-like features, the mummy was associated with Shoshone legends of little people called the Nemerigar and non-Native American folklore about Pygmy Indians. The mummy was exhibited for years as an early hominid or a preserved pygmy, and was owned by various individuals, despite reports of adult vertebrae, teeth, solid food in the stomach, and broken bones. An examination by Harry L. Shapiro of the American Museum of Natural History concluded that the mummy was an anencephalic infant, with the deformed head giving the appearance of a miniature adult. In 1994, a similar mummy dubbed Chiquita was brought forward by a family in Cheyenne who had purchased it from a sheepherder in the same region of Wyoming around 1929. X-rays, DNA testing, and carbon dating confirmed that Chiquita was a naturally mummified anencephalic female infant of Native American ancestry from approximately 1500 to 1700. Both mummies are unique among Wyoming Native American burials for being in a seated position with arms wrapped around the legs, and Chiquita is unusual for being blonde. The current whereabouts of both the San Pedro Mountains mummy and Chiquita are unknown, as they have been lost over time. The Seven Gates of Hell is an urban legend centered around a wooded area in Pelham Township, Pennsylvania, with two main versions of the story. One version claims that a mental institution once stood in the area, and a fire broke out, killing many patients, while others escaped and were beaten to death. The other version involves an eccentric physician who built several gates along a path deep into the forest. Both versions agree that there are 7 gates, with only one visible during the day, and that passing through all 7 gates leads directly to hell. In reality, the area in question is private property along Range Road, and the gates can be seen at any time, contrary to the legend. The ruins of a flint mill in the nearby Trout Run area are likely mistaken for a burnt-down asylum. Dr. Harold Belknap, a practitioner at Westside Sanitarium, lived along Toad Road and would often post humorous, threatening signs to deter trespassers, which is how the road got its name. The U.S. Navy is investigating the use of ultra-short laser pulses to create glowing plasma in mid-air as a means to decoy missiles away from aircraft, which might explain some recent UFO sightings reported in the Pentagon's Unexplained Aerial Phenomena report. Interest in this technology dates back to at least 1966, when UFO skeptic Philip Klass suggested that some UFOs could be luminous plasmas of ionized air, a form of ball lightning generated by electric corona on high-tension power lines. In 2005, French defense company Thales published a paper exploring the potential of using laser-generated plasma as active decoys against heat-seeking missiles. A 2010 Chinese paper also discussed the use of short-pulse lasers for confusing missile guidance, but further research in this area may not be openly published. In the 1980s, rumors circulated about a bizarre weapon called the Voice of God being developed in New Mexico, which allegedly used crossed infrared laser beams to create a talking fireball in the sky for psychological operations. While the existence of the Voice of God project remains unconfirmed, a 2018 video from the Pentagon's Joint Non-Lethal Weapons Program demonstrated a short-pulse laser creating a talking plasma fireball, suggesting the concept is not entirely far-fetched. Academic and commercial researchers have demonstrated laser plasma technology for 3D aerial displays, but it has not yet matured enough for widespread commercial use. As this technology advances, glowing plasma in the sky may become as commonplace as neon signs, but for now, it is likely to continue generating reports of UFOs, with those most knowledgeable about it revealing little. There have been numerous strange cases reported of people seeming to spontaneously vanish or be wiped from existence in an instant. One such account involved a witness who, while picnicking with friends near a dangerous creek, saw a young girl running towards the drop-off, only for her to completely disappear in the split second it took for the witness to round a boulder. Despite searching the area and checking for news of a missing girl, no trace of the child was ever found. Other similar stories include a woman in a Wendy's restaurant who appeared out of nowhere, walked through a window, and disappeared. An elderly man with a cane who vanished and reappeared multiple times within moments, and a man walking on the sidewalk who simply evaporated when the witness glanced away briefly. In some cases, the vanished individuals were known to the witnesses, such as a college student who seemed to fade from existence, with even his sister and parents claiming he had never existed. Another report involved a college class where the number of students inexplicably changed from 21 to 19 between two head counts, despite no one having left the room. Theories attempting to explain these bizarre occurrences range from glitches in a simulated reality, interdimensional walk-ins, time travelers, portals, or even mysterious forces tampering with reality itself. Some suggest that these disappearances could be related to individuals raising their vibrational frequency and shifting to a higher dimension, becoming distant memories to those left behind. However, the true nature of these puzzling vanishings remains unknown, and they continue to be firmly entrenched in the realm of the strange and unexplained. A hypothetical planet called Phaeton was once thought to exist between Mars and Jupiter, suggested by a planetary spacing pattern known as the Titius-Bode law. However, the discovery of asteroids like Ceres, Pallas, Juno, and Vesta led to the theory that a planet may have broken apart. In 1927, Franz Xaver Kugler proposed that the myth of Phaeton was inspired by a real event, a meteorite shower around 1500 BC causing catastrophic fires and floods. Various theories suggest how Phaeton could have been destroyed, including getting too close to Jupiter, colliding with another celestial body, or internal disruption. Some scientists propose that Phaeton's moons eventually collided with it, breaking it apart, while others believed it could have been a gas giant like Saturn. Today, the prevailing theory is the accretion model, suggesting that asteroids in the main belt are remnants of a protoplanetary disk that failed to form a planet due to Jupiter's gravitational disturbances. Alternative theories exist, including unconventional scenarios proposed by some researchers and featured in fiction works depicting a planet between Mars and Jupiter that eventually became the asteroid belt. The phantom time conspiracy theory, first asserted by Heribert Illig in 1991, suggests that the Holy Roman Emperor Otto III, Pope Sylvester II, and possibly the Byzantine Emperor Constantine VII conspired to fabricate the Anno Domini dating system retroactively. The theory proposes that this was done to place themselves at the special year of AD 1000 and to rewrite history to legitimize Otto's claim to the Holy Roman Empire. Illig believed that this was achieved through the alteration, misrepresentation, and forgery of documentary and physical evidence. According to this scenario, the entire Carolingian period, including the figure of Charlemagne, is a fabrication, with a phantom time of 297 years added to the early Middle Ages. Illig's claims include a scarcity of archaeological evidence from specific periods, inaccuracies in radiometric and dendrochronological dating methods, an over-reliance on written sources by medieval historians, and the presence of Romanesque architecture in 10th century Western Europe, suggesting a shorter time gap from the Roman era. However, evidence from ancient astronomy, such as solar eclipses and observations of Halley's Comet, contradicts the hypothesis and supports the conventional chronology. Archaeological remains and dendrochronological dating also refute the idea of phantom time. The discrepancy in the Gregorian calendar reform of 1582 is explained by the fact that it aimed to align the calendar with the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD, not with the original Julian calendar of 45 BC. If the Carolingian dynasty were fabricated, it would require a corresponding fabrication of the history of the rest of Europe, including Anglo-Saxon England, the papacy, the Byzantine Empire, and the Islamic expansion, as well as the Tang dynasty of China and its contact with the Islamic world. The phantom time hypothesis has failed to gain support from historians, and calendars from other parts of Europe, Asia, and pre-Columbian America further contradict the theory. Phil Shneider was a geologist and engineer who claimed to have worked on secret underground military bases and had encounters with extraterrestrial beings.
I'm Phil Shneider. I spent 17 years in black budget programs, government geologist as engineer, structural engineer with aerospace applications. Self-taught metallurgist, became kind of famous in my own right. Up here I have different artifacts. Some of them are alien metals that have been produced both on this planet and the confines of outer space that are now used in all stealth aircraft. All stealth aircraft, for instance, all black jets, what you're seeing of black helicopters and the like, the skins and the coatings and the residues that are used predominantly in the aircraft themselves, in the airframes and the rotor blades and the fans, and in some cases in submarines, special titanium hulls, in the Phoenix-class submarines now. All this has come from alien technology. 1947 is what the public has been told. Something crashed in the backyard in New Mexico, a place called Roswell, New Mexico. Unfortunately, that's what the public's been told. The military's known about the alien question for the better part of 70 years, and they first saw their glimpse of what was going on as early as 1909 in the American Southwest. Army cavalry evidently were chasing some bandits, and they entered this cave. They were holed up in a cave, and what they found in there was flying discs and little gray guys and all kinds of weird things, and they didn't know how to explain that, and they wrote them down as best they could, and it's been in secret archives ever since.
He alleged that the US government had been aware of and interacting with aliens since the early 1900s, including a supposed battle between humans and extraterrestrials at an underground base in 1979. Shneider described being wounded by an alien weapon during this incident, losing fingers to a blue laser-like beam before being rescued by a soldier who sacrificed himself to get Shneider to safety. Physical evidence of Schneider's missing fingers and a strange scar seemed to lend some credence to his fantastical story, on top of his above-average geological knowledge about mining and working with rocks. The circumstances surrounding Schneider's death in 1996 were also highly suspicious. Officially ruled suicide, but with indications of a violent struggle and strangulation, not consistent with the official report. Shneider claimed there had been multiple previous attempts on his life since he started speaking publicly about his supposed experiences. He described multiple alien races, some of which he claimed were malevolent and sought to take over the Earth and enslave humanity. Shneider spoke of advanced alien technologies, including special metallic elements used in stealth aircraft and spacecraft. According to him, there was an extensive network of underground bases across the United States, built through the black budget at great expense. He believed various world governments were collaborating with certain alien species, and that this was all being kept hidden from the general public. Many of Shneider's ideas fit into the wider context of UFO conspiracy theories popular in the 1990s. While his claims are regarded as controversial and lacking substantial evidence by mainstream researchers, Shneider had documents, military records, and a level of knowledge that led some to believe he was telling the truth about at least some of his incredible experiences. The Philadelphia experiment is a famous military urban legend about an alleged secret U.S. Navy experiment during World War II involving the USS Eldridge, a cannon-class destroyer escort. According to the legend, on October 28, 1943, the Eldridge was conducting top-secret experiments designed to make naval ships invisible to enemy radar. Witnesses claimed that an eerie green-blue glow surrounded the ship's hull before it suddenly disappeared, only to reappear in Norfolk, Virginia, and then vanish again, reappearing back in Philadelphia. The story suggests that the crew suffered disturbing effects, including insanity, mysterious illnesses, and even being fused with the ship's metal. The origin of the legend can be traced back to Carl M. Allen, who used the pseudonym Carlos Miguel Allende, and his correspondence with author Morris K. Jessup in the 1950s. Allende claimed to have witnessed the Eldridge's disappearance and insisted that the U.S. military had conducted the experiment and was trying to cover it up. In reality, the USS Eldridge and the USS Engstrom, both dry-docked in the Philadelphia Naval Yard, had classified devices on board that scrambled the magnetic signatures of ships using the degaussing technique, providing protection from magnetic torpedoes. The green glow reported by witnesses could be explained by an electric storm or St. Elmo's fire, a weather phenomenon in which plasma is created in a strong electric field, giving off a bright glow. Inland canals connected Norfolk to Philadelphia, allowing a ship to travel between the two cities in a few hours, potentially explaining the alleged teleportation. While the Philadelphia experiment remains a captivating legend, the truth behind the story is likely a combination of misinterpreted real events and fabrication. The Philosopher's Stone is a legendary alchemical substance said to be capable of turning base metals like mercury into gold or silver. It's also known as the elixir of life, thought to rejuvenate and grant immortality to whoever possesses it. For centuries, the Philosopher's Stone was the most sought-after goal in alchemy, symbolizing perfection, enlightenment, and heavenly bliss. The stone's origins can be traced back to ancient Greek philosophy, with alchemists later building upon these concepts in the Byzantine and Arab empires. In the Middle Ages, Muslim alchemists like Jabir ibn Hayyan theorized that every metal was a combination of 4 basic qualities, and believed transmutation could be achieved by rearranging these qualities using a special elixir. The 13th century philosopher Albertus Magnus is said to have witnessed the creation of gold through transmutation, though he did not claim to have discovered the stone himself. Paracelsus, a 16th century Swiss alchemist, believed in the existence of alkahest, an undiscovered element from which all other elements were derived, and thought this was the Philosopher's Stone. In Buddhism and Hinduism, the concept of the Philosopher's Stone is represented by the Cintamani, a wish-fulfilling jewel often depicted in the possession of various deities and creatures. The properties of the Philosopher's Stone are said to include the ability to transmute metals, heal illnesses, prolong life, and create perpetual lamps, precious stones, flexible glass, and even clones, or homunculi. Alchemists used numerous synonyms and metaphors to refer to the stone, often drawing upon religious and mythological symbolism to describe its appearance and qualities. While the Philosopher's Stone remains a mythical substance, its allure continues to capture the imagination of people around the world, inspiring ongoing interpretations and speculation about its composition and potential. Philosophical zombies, often referred to as P-zombies, are a concept in philosophy that imagines beings who are behaviorally and functionally identical to humans, but lack conscious experience or qualia. In other words, they exhibit all the outward behaviors and responses of a conscious being, but lack inner subjective experience. The idea of philosophical zombies is used to explore the nature of consciousness and the mind-body problem. Philosophers ponder whether consciousness is solely a product of physical processes in the brain, or if there is something more to it beyond physical matter. According to proponents of the zombie argument, it is conceivable that there could exist beings that are indistinguishable from conscious humans in every observable way, but lack subjective experience. This challenges the idea that consciousness can be fully explained by physical processes alone. Philosophical zombies are often used in debates about materialism, dualism, and the nature of consciousness. They raise questions about whether consciousness can be reduced to physical processes, or if there is a non-physical aspect to it. On March 13, 1997, thousands of people in Arizona and Nevada witnessed a series of strange lights and a massive, silent object in the night sky. The incident, known as the Phoenix Lights, is one of the most perplexing and well-documented UFO sightings in history. Witnesses described seeing a carpenter's square-shaped UFO with 5 spherical lights, while others reported a row of brilliant lights hovering and slowly falling in the sky. 2 distinct events occurred that night: a triangular formation of lights passing over the state, and a series of stationary lights in the Phoenix area. Despite several explanations, including military exercises and flares, the incident remains largely unexplained due to the unusual shape and behavior of the objects witnessed. The fact that thousands of people in different locations reported seeing the same phenomenon adds to the intrigue and mystery surrounding the event. Even Arizona Governor Fife Symington III, who initially mocked the incident by dressing up an aide in an alien costume, later admitted to personally witnessing the otherworldly event and having a close encounter with an alien spacecraft. Theories about the Phoenix Lights range from extraterrestrial visitations to top-secret military experiments, with some suggesting mass hallucination or a government cover-up. Others point to the possibility of advanced alien technology being responsible for the sightings. Years of investigation have failed to provide a conclusive explanation, cementing the Phoenix Lights as one of the most bizarre and enduring mysteries in UFO history. In Antarctica, detectors have picked up mysterious particles that seem to defy our current understanding of physics. These ultra-high-energy particles have been detected by the Antarctic Impulsive Transient Antenna, ANITA experiment, and the IceCube Observatory. According to the Standard Model of Particle Physics, ultra-high-energy neutrinos should not be able to pass through the Earth, but these detected particles appear to be doing just that. This suggests that the particles may be something entirely new, not described by our current theories. One possible explanation, cosmic accelerators firing intense neutrino bullets at Earth, has been largely ruled out by the lack of expected lower-energy particle detections. The mystery particles could be evidence of a fourth sterile neutrino species outside the Standard Model, a new type of dark matter, or something else entirely unknown. The detection of these particles has led many physicists to believe that the Standard Model, our best description of the subatomic world, may be incomplete or in need of revision. However, the limited data available from ANITA and IceCube makes it difficult to determine the true nature of these particles. Researchers are waiting for the next generation of neutrino detectors to gather more information and hopefully shed light on this fascinating mystery. The discovery of particles that challenge our current understanding of physics is both exciting and perplexing, with the potential to revolutionize our knowledge of the universe. The pineal gland, also known as the third eye, is a small, pine cone-shaped gland located in the center of the brain. It has been a topic of intrigue and mystery for centuries, with some believing it holds the key to unlocking the deepest parts of the human psyche and is associated with spirituality and transcendence. The 17th century philosopher and scientist René Descartes considered the pineal gland to be the principal seat of the soul and the place where all our thoughts are formed. He emphasized the importance of the pineal gland, as it was the only unpaired component of the brain. The pineal gland is found in nearly all vertebrate species, except for some primitive ones like the hagfish, suggesting it has been evolutionarily conserved and serves an important function. The gland is involved in regulating circadian rhythms and is thought to play a role in mystical and metaphysical experiences in some cultures. However, the third eye is believed to be under constant threat from harmful chemicals and toxins in the modern world. Fluoride, found in water systems, dental products, and foods, is considered one of the most common and dangerous substances contributing to pineal gland calcification. Heavy metals like mercury and pesticides found in cosmetics and household products can also contribute to this calcification. As a result, many people may suffer from headaches, anxiety, sleep disorders, and other mental health issues. Some believe that a healthy diet, including organic and raw foods, drinking herbal teas and elixirs formulated for the third eye, and practicing meditation and visualization techniques can help decalcify and activate the pineal gland. While the scientific understanding of the pineal gland's function is still evolving, its mystical and spiritual associations continue to captivate the human imagination. The placebo effect is a fascinating phenomenon where a fake treatment can lead to real healing, demonstrating the power of the mind-body connection. While placebos won't cure serious conditions like cancer or lower cholesterol, they can be effective for managing symptoms such as pain, stress-related insomnia, and side effects of cancer treatment like fatigue and nausea. The placebo effect involves a complex neurobiological reaction, including the release of feel-good neurotransmitters like endorphins and dopamine, and increased activity in brain regions associated with moods, emotional reactions, and self-awareness. The ritual of treatment, such as going to a clinic, being examined by medical professionals, and receiving pills or undergoing procedures, can also contribute to the placebo effect by making people feel they are receiving attention and care. Interestingly, even when people know they are taking a placebo, it can still be effective, as demonstrated by a study where a placebo labeled placebo was 50% as effective as a real migraine drug in reducing pain. Engaging in self-help methods and the rituals of healthy living, such as eating right, exercising, practicing yoga, and meditating, may provide some of the key ingredients of the placebo effect. The level of attention and emotional support you give yourself during these activities can enhance their healing benefits. A study using brain imaging found that people with chronic knee pain who experienced pain relief from a placebo had greater activity in the middle frontal gyrus, a region in the frontal lobe of the brain. While the exact mechanisms of the placebo effect are not fully understood, it highlights the importance of the mind-body connection and the potential for harnessing the power of the brain in healing.